Welcome. Today's venue is in the media room again, this time with the Nepalese prayer flags that I have hanging in here. It's appropriate because today's topic is pre-planning and itinerary for trekking in the Himalayas. Now, this vlog is for those who have never considered visiting Nepal before. As you will find out, it's an amazing and fascinating country. It's also for those who have visited Nepal before, as I will show you how to make the most of your visit. It is also for those who are unable to travel, as I'm going to show you the real Nepal. So I should first start off by saying this is no all-inclusive sandals vacation. It is a deep dive into the Nepalese culture, its rich history, architecture, shrines, and monuments, most dating back to the 12th to the 15th century. The trekking part of this adventure, it will test your physical endurance, but not to an extreme. It is not peak climbing, as I really no longer enjoy extreme cold weather. So visiting Nepal is a life-changing experience, and I have to tell you, no camera captures the Himalayan mountains, as you will experience them firsthand. In this vlog, I will also cover the trip expenses from a budget-friendly perspective, but we'll reference other options as well. Now note, this is an interactive video, and I recommend you watch it from your computer rather than your smart TV. Now open up this vlog in two internet windows on your computer, and on one of the windows, expand the More button, and down in the description, you will see numbered links. When the time comes, I will have you pause this vlog and click on the link, first link, which has been chosen to motivate you. Besides, in this video I'm referencing, you will get a kick out of the 70s cars and the 80 computer CRT screens. The takeaway from it is the escape, the getaway, and motivating you. So go ahead and put me on pause and click on the number 1 below, and when done, click on the back button so you get back to the description again. Now that you're motivated with a little Kathmandu, I'd like to talk about the costs, expenses of this trip. Now, the most costly is going to be your flight cost. Beyond that, it is minimal. Nepal is one of the poorest countries in the world, and the cost will reflect that. The average Nepalese earns $20 a day. That's a day, not an hour. Since that's the average income, you will encounter many people whom earn only 50 cents a day there. For your flight, as I've mentioned before in videos, I recommend searching with Google Flights. Just put in your departure city and the arrival city of Kathmandu, and you will most likely be looking at a rate of around $1,300 US dollars, which is what I paid. Now, I know a lot of Indians visit Nepal, so I looked at flying into New Delhi and a separate flight going from New Delhi into Kathmandu. By doing that, I would have saved $300 and would have cut out a full day. However, I nixed that idea, because since I'm the group leader of this trip, if I didn't get in when I'm supposed to, then it just screws it up for everyone else. So I went ahead and booked it all the way through for $1,300. Now, in fact, prior to, or pre-COVID, I was finding flights from LAX and Vancouver, BC for $400 round trip with China Airlines. However, China Airlines pulled out of that route, and I guess it is what it is after COVID. So these costs I'll put up on the board as I go along. The next cost incurred is your Nepalese visa to get into the country. Now, I will have a follow-up vlog which will detail and talk more about the visa and many other things. For now, I will just say you should only need a 15-day visa, which is $30. If you go beyond that, 15 days, it's a $50 visa. Next is the shuttle or taxi from the airport to your hotel in Thamel. A taxi will generally run about $14 to $16. However, most hotels have a shuttle service if booked ahead of time. Sometimes it can be free shuttle, sometimes they charge for it. Now, the hotel I'm staying at, the shuttle cost is $18, a little bit more in cost, but for the convenience, because most of the time flights come in late in the evening, around 10 p.m., that it's just easier just to get the hotel shuttle. Now we get to the hotels in Kathmandu. Last time I was here in 2018, I stayed in the northern region of Kathmandu in a family hotel. I did so as I wanted to experience how the average Nepalese lives. My takeaway was, number one, it was very different sleeping on a hard, coarse rug rather than a mattress. That took some getting used to. And I don't think I ever did get used to it, actually. Number two is I found in the hotel room they had exposed electrical wiring, which I proceeded to shock myself at least once from screwing around with it. And number three, in the northern part, expect rolling blackouts every evening. It's cool to experience, but difficult to get things charged. Now I recommend staying in Thamel. That will put you in the middle of Trekker Central and where all the outdoor markets and nightlife is. For myself, I've booked the Namaswa Hotel. Now, as you know from my vlogs, all I care about for a hotel room is a place to sleep, charge my devices, and shower. But on this trip, I also was looking for a place that will store my bags while I'm out trekking. And the bonus for the Namaswa Hotel is that it has a rooftop terrace, laundry, restaurant, and they have rooms with private bathrooms. And I guess one of the other benefits is that it's right in the center of Thamel. Now, everything I describe in this video that you need to reference, I'll put down in the description, so you can just click on the links and go to it. Now, the dates I'm going is during prime time tourist season, so the hotel is a bit more expensive. The hotel will run from $21 to $23 a night. Yeah, $21 to $23 a night. Now, off season, I've seen the rates of this hotel as low as $2 a night. Now, that's not to say it's not a nice hotel or anything. It is. I've seen the pictures of it. It looks nice. Good comments. It's just, those are the expenses you can expect in Nepal. Now, as I've mentioned in my other vlogs, I like to use hotels.com to find and book my rooms. With hotels.com, search under Kathmandu, and they will have a maps view. Click on the maps view, and then they will have a checkbox where you can drill down in the Thamel area. Now, if you don't want that hotel, you can do a broader search, and in fact, you can book a palace room for around $200 a night. Now, I recommend you spend at least 4 nights at Kathmandu for sightseeing. So 4 nights at the hotel, $23, that's $92 on the first 4 nights. So before we go any further into the itinerary, let's watch another vlog. Now, down in the description, the number 2 URL I'll have you click on, the takeaways from it is giving you a general idea of why to visit Nepal. It is mentioned in this vlog, Chitwan National Forest. Now, my itinerary does not include Chitwan and the animals of Chitwan. However, if you decide you want to arrive early or stay late and visit Chitwan, proceed to do so. So pause me and click on the number 2 URL below. Now, another takeaway is get used to saying namaste, which means greetings. At this point in the vlog, I should mention, as you know, I enjoy meandering and getting lost in cities. I have done so in Kathmandu before, and feel safer on its streets and alleys than I do in most American cities. The Nepalese people are very friendly. So now, itinerary. Since most flights, like I say, come in at 10 p.m., you may very well have jet lag. For the first night, it's going to be relaxed. The only thing planned is going to Sam's Club. Yes, you heard that right. Halfway around the world I'm sending you, and we're going to a Walmart. Actually, the name is Sam's Place or Sam's Bar. This has been a gathering place for international trekkers since the 90s. On day 2, I will take you to the best exchange location in Thamel. Now, I'm arriving a little early, so I'll know what that location is. And it is best that we do our exchange in Thamel itself, because you're not going to get a better exchange rate at your local bank or at the airport. Next, I recommend you experience a local grocery market in Thamel, so we're not going to have far to go. Then we would meander the streets of Kathmandu to the Monkey Temple. This is about a 35-minute walk, and at the Monkey Temple, we will ascend the 365 steps of enlightenment. It is on those steps that you will pass by statues and monuments Then arriving at the top with the stupa up there from 460 AD. There we will make our way to the rooftop cafe, and on the rooftop we'll have a lassi. It is at that point, looking out over the amazing views of Kathmandu, you will turn to me and say, "This is living life." Or otherwise you'll turn to me and say, "I shouldn't have drank that lassi with the goat milk in it, as I am lactose intolerant." We will then proceed back to Thamel and visit Kathmandu Fun Park and Ratna Park. While in that area, we'll pick up our TIMS permit for trekking. The TIMS permit will cost $36. Then we will go to a tent market. This is where you'll find everything you need for our trekking adventure that you didn't bring along. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, you could show up in your underwear and you can buy everything you need in knockoff brands. Now, one example of a knockoff brand is a North Face jacket for $20. You can't beat the prices. Now, I really don't recommend you show up at the airport in your underwear, as you might have a bit of trouble getting your visa entry into the country. Then that evening we'll go nightclub hopping, visiting clubs like Purple Haze, Ibiza, Deja Vu, and Lord of Drinks, a top 50 nightclub in the world. Now, another note, the nightclubs are full of Indian and local Nepalese men, so it is on the most part just enjoying the music and drinks, and that's it. However, you may want to set aside around $100 for drinks. On day 3, we will meander southern Thamel, visiting the Kathmandu Dubar Square. Now, entrance fee into Dubar Square is $7. There will be many historical buildings and shrines with Newa wood carvings. There will be open air street markets. Then, if we time it right, we will also see the deity, the living goddess, peek out of a window. While in the area, we'll go to Dharahara Tower. A $2 entrance fee is required to get into the tower. Then a walk-up Freak Street, named so as this is the street in the 1960s and 70s hippies occupied it. This is where famous performers owned flats back in the 70s, such as the Beatles and Cat Stevens. Next, we'll be returning back to the northern part of Thamel. A visit to the Garden of Dreams. A 70-cent entrance fee is required there. At this point, it's time to flip our poster board. Well, let's take a look at the cost so far. Garden of Dreams was once a personal garden. Garden courtyards were once very popular to the wealthy Nepalese. Then that evening we will wander the Thamel streets, walking under string and neon lights. Another option is to visit Pashupati Temple. Now, this temple is the most popular tourist attraction in Kathmandu. Now, I may have not sounded thrilled about visiting it. Let me put it this way. If you asked me to crash a wedding with you, I'd be all in. If you asked me to crash a funeral with you, I would say, go ahead, have fun on your own. Now let's take a break here, and you can click on number 3 vlog down in the description. Now, the takeaway from this vlog is just a general knowledge of Nepal. I should mention TIMS permits for trekking are issued for the Everest and Annapurna areas, and we will be trekking in the Annapurna region. Now, before clicking, I should also say I coordinated this trip during the Holi Festival, the Festival of Colors. It is celebrated on the full moon day of the Hindu calendar month in February or March, and it's celebrated in Kathmandu at Pokhara on the same day. In Kathmandu, it's more traditional music and gets very, very crowded. So in preference, celebrating it in Pokhara, as it is more modern music and live music DJs out in the streets. So anyway, go ahead and put me on pause and click on the 3rd link. On day 5, after taking the night bus, we'll arrive in Pokhara around 6 a.m. We will then proceed to visit Devi Falls and a tent bazaar and Gupteshwor Mahadev Cave. Both of these costs are 70 cents to enter. We will then go to Phewa Lake and rent canoes for $6. Next, we'll canoe to the tall Monkey Temple in the middle of Phewa Lake, and then to the other side of the lake and hike to the World Peace Pagoda. Our return to the canoe, we will then cross back across the lake, and the rest of the day is open. And for you Adrenalin junkies, you can take a taxi to Serenket for paragliding, bungee jumping, or even zip lining. The other option is to visit the Pokhara Disneyland, where rides cost around 75 cents per ride. We will also walk lakeside, taking in the pre-Holy Festival festivities, and go to Club Catwalk night. Now I have booked and recommend staying at the Gantavya resort located right on Phewa Lake. Now this resort, the current rates are $17 a night, and in total we'll spend 3 nights there, 2 going and then 1 on the way back. So that's $51. On day 6, we'll join in the festivities for the full day of the festivities of the Holy Festival. Then on day 7, we will take a bus from Pokhara to Nepal, which costs around $2. We will then trek 7.5 miles or 12 kilometers. Yeah, it takes around 5 to 6 hours to UPBEAT, where we will stay in a tea house. Now this first trekking that we do is rather easy climbing. We will be at 3,510 feet at the top, or 1 kilometer. Now, the first day trek, the last part of it is the most difficult, as you will climb 3,000 stone steps, and we will pass through villages, taking our time along the way. Now, once in UPBEAT, tea houses run from $3 to $10 a night. The biggest thing we have to worry about is getting the tea house itself, because you don't make reservations ahead of time. You just show up and get the tea house when you get there. So if we have someone in our group that's a runner, we'll let them run and go ahead of us and get the rooms. Otherwise, if we can't get a room, then we may end up in the dining room or the restaurant, sleeping on the floors. So this next vlog, the 4th vlog that I'm going to have you click on down in the description, it really gives you the experience that you're going to experience in Nepal. It'll show you the busy streets of Kathmandu, and it will show you the complete calmness and quietness of when you're out trekking. Quite the thing to experience. Plus they have some nice views of the Himalayas. So the only thing I don't like about it is they use drone footage. Now I've mentioned this in my other vlogs too. I own 2 drones, and I don't put any footage in there of drones, because I think it's more important to show what you're going to experience when you go on these trips, rather than what something is 500-600 feet in the air and you're never going to experience it. So anyway, click on the next vlog, number 4, down in the description, and then come back to me. And don't forget to put me on pause. Now this next vlog, vlog 5, down in the description, it will give you an idea of what the trekking in the Himalayas is all about. We will be doing the 2nd trek in this vlog. They show the Gorapani Poon Hill trek, and continue watching the rest of all the vlog, as it will give you a really good idea of what trekking is about. And you will most likely, I guarantee, once you've done this trip, you'll want to return someday. Before you watch the next video I'm recommending in the description, I have a warning to you about the header. Now the header is called 5 Short Treks for Beginners and Senior Citizens for the Poon Hill trek. Now, to maintain our manhood, let's just say we are short on time, which is why we selected this trek. So go ahead and put me on hold and click on number 5 below. So the 3rd trek in that vlog, the Langtang trek, I really want to do that. I've never done that before. And I tried to fit it in with this trip, but that was going to extend it another 8 days. And I know most people can't get away beyond 2 weeks, so we'll just be back someday to do the Langtang trip. Now day 8 is the trek from Club to Gorapani. Now this climb that we'll be going on is 2,954 feet, or 900 meters. This is the most difficult part of the trekking that we'll do. and it's uphill most all day. And the full day is 5 to 6 hours. Then after that 5 to 6 hours, we get to our tea house in Gorapani. And again, it runs about $3 to $10. And anyway, tea house in Gorapani will decide if we want to go ahead and go up to Poon Hill that evening to see the sunset on the mountains. It is about a 45-minute hike, or 1 mile, or 1.5 kilometers. Now on day 9, we'll definitely make that trek to Poon Hill. We'll rise early in the morning, I think around 4 a.m., to see the amazing sunrise on the Annapurna Mountains. We will be at 10,531 feet, or 3,210 meters. And getting to Poon Hill, it will cost 70 cents. Up on Poon Hill, when we're there in the morning, with a beautiful morning sun rays illuminating the high snow-capped Himalayas, this will be the second time you will turn to me and say, "This is living life." Or you'll turn to me and say, "I think I'm in trouble. That hot chocolate I purchased up here, it had goat's milk in it." And once we're done on Poon Hill, after seeing the beautiful sunrise, we will return the way we came on that trek and catch the bus back to Pokhara and stay at the same hotel in Pokhara. The 10th day, we'll take the 8-hour bus ride back to Kathmandu from Pokhara, and then that evening is open for whatever everyone wants to do, seeing the Thamel area. And beyond the 10th day, you can stay longer, take your return flight on the 11th day. I should know flying to Kathmandu is plus 2 days, and returning is plus 1 day. So total trip, if you leave on the 11th day, you add 3 days to that, that's going to be 14 days total, 2 weeks. Now I didn't include food costs, but expect it is going to be less than if you didn't take this trip at all and you ate at home. Street food is from $2 to $5, and mid-range food is $5 to $15, and fine dining is $15 plus. So if we say $8 a meal, 8 times 3 is 24, and a day times 7 equals 170. And trekking, you will spend $15 to $25 a day. So $20 times 2 is 40. So expect on food it's going to cost total around $210. However, I don't expect to pay that much for food, and you'll realize that once you get there. Now, the rest of our totals are right here. Let's take a look at that. So total cost for this trip, if you add them all together, that's going to be $2,001. Not bad for a 2-week trip. And I should also say, not bad for an adventure-filled getaway where we're going to be busy the entire time. Now that's pretty good also, in taking into account $1,300 of that is your airfare. Now I will have a follow-up vlog, like I mentioned, that would be more detailed on what to bring, etiquette, cash to bring, and general information. Now when I started thinking about the next vlog I'm going to do, I did leave out an expense. When you go to get your TIMS permit, they are going to require that you have travel insurance. Some people would say put down on the permit any company and a fictitious policy number. However, if something should happen to you while you're trekking and you need to be evacuated via helicopter, that can get extremely expensive. So with that, it's best you just go ahead and get the coverage. Since we will be under 4,000 meters, the safety wing Nomad Essentials plan should suffice. It would be the shortest you can get is 5-day coverage, and while we are trekking, it will cost $35. And if you wanted to cover your entire trip, the whole 15 days, it would run about $105. And that's going to cover flight delays, it's going to cover medical, evacuation, helicopter, all that. Now I will put the link to the Safety Wing insurance coverage in the description of this vlog and in my next vlog. For those traveling with me next year, I will be somewhat your guide. On the most part, my role is going to be to tell you what you should do and what you should not do. It is up to you if you want to heed my warnings or not. So I'm going to be somewhat your guide, and I'm not your Sherpa, and I'm not your porter. Yeah, definitely, I'm not your porter. What you carry in with you, you're carrying yourself, and you're carrying it out. However, if you wanted to hire a porter to carry your backpack for you, that would run $20 a day and $5 to $10 a tip per day. And you also need to pay them transportation costs. So we want to get the porter in Pokhara. So total, you'd be looking at around $100 for our trekking trip for a porter. Now I have some additional vlogs for you to watch down in the description, and I highly recommend you watch those. Now, I've mentioned to you before that you could feel safe on this entire trip. In Kathmandu, Pokhara, out on the trekking hills. The danger is major earthquakes that happen. The last major one happened was in 2015, which was a 7.5 earthquake that did severe damage and lives lost across the country of Nepal. Now, it did so much damage because of the very old buildings, but because Nepal earthquakes are very shallow. Now, to explain this better, how shallow they are. For example, this Cascadia fault zone is from one plate going under the other, and in this case, the Himalaya tectonic plates, they are two plates colliding upwards. Hence, you have the Himalayan mountains. So click on number 6 link down below, and that will show you, it's a short vlog, and that will show you that the 7.8 earthquake in the Langtang Valley Trek. Then you put me on pause, you can come back to me. Now the 7th link down below, I highly recommend you watch it. It's very long though, so try to watch as much as you can of it. But I highly recommend it, and it will give you an appreciation for the monuments, the architecture, and the Newa wood carvings you'll be experiencing. Now I have to warn you, this vlog that I'm referencing, number 7, it's like a grade school movie that you were forced to watch. However, it's well worth it. Thanks for watching, and since this vlog was a bit long, there'll be no bad jokes or puns. But remember, all I ask is that you subscribe to my channel. Bottom right hand corner. Thanks again for watching.